Do-Rag Wisdom here, ladies and gentlemen and friends, and welcome to Y2K 19.05.13. Full disclosure, I was born in Cleveland, Ohio, but was not raised in that state, because I'm going to ask you at some point to boycott that state, including Alabama and Georgia too. Everything that Putin wanted to happen in our country is being enabled by his boy in our Oval Office. And when we finally have that second hot civil war, Putin will bring marshmallows to barbecue in the flames. In fact, the hot war is inching its way to reality, considering the violence our nation has been experiencing full force since Hair Monster assumed the highest office in our land. The Cheeto Hair Monster creep. Daffy Donald promised an end to the so-called carnage in our nation, but he forgot to mention the kind of carnage, because carnage engendered by white supremacist thugs is okay by him. And let us not forget the carnage coming from the religious extremist fascists. Trump, who believes that he is going to hell, thinks that feeding his religious extremist base will spare him that imaginary fate. And tainting our lower federal courts, as well as our Supreme Courts, with religious extremists is just another part of the playbook. Hitler knew, after all, that you needed sympathetic judges to help promote your pernicious agenda. Which brings us to my suggestion of boycotting at least 3 states in our union, with more to come depending on who rules the state, Democrat or Republican. Alabama, Georgia, and Ohio are going to implement the most draconian of all anti-abortion laws. It's like a slap in the face of women everywhere. They want to force women to have children in 9 months, but just after they find out after 6 weeks when a so-called heartbeat may be detected. There is even a suggestion, and that's heartbeat in the fetus. They don't give a shit about heartbeat in living people. There is even a suggestion that women who leave the state that has the anti-abortion in it to have an abortion will be charged with murder. Doctors who perform the procedure can go to jail for years. Can you imagine here in our free country, a state government is denying you, a woman, the right to choose what you have to choose, one way or the other? Sounds like totalitarianism to me. Now understand, there's going to be lawsuits, but this is just what the Trumpist rulers of Alabama, Georgia, and Ohio want, because they hope that the Trump McDumbbell right-wing Supreme Court will overturn Roe v. Wade. And you got to remember, you talk about conspiracy theories, right in our faces, McDumbbell denied our President Obama the right to pick a Supreme Court seat. This is now the state of our lives. Well, to hell with Alabama, to hell with Georgia, to hell with my birth state, Ohio. If these states want to leave the USA and join the Republic of Trump and Gilead from The Handmaid's Tale, then they don't need my tourist dollars. I will only visit states that follow our rule of democratic law. I will not visit states where women are denied their rights to do with their bodies as they choose. By the same token, I have no desire to visit any country. Let's go international. I have no desire to visit any country that embraces authoritarian, religious, extremist totalitarianism or any kind of totalitarianism. I would never visit Saudi Arabia. I don't want to visit Russia, China, Brazil, the Philippines, Hungary, or any country that oppresses its citizens or murders journalists. But in any event, I don't want to have any business with these countries. And I don't want them here. I don't want their leaders here. The hair monster Trump is inviting another dictator to our country. Trump plans to take over our nation's July 4th celebration in the Capitol. It's usually televised the last few years. He wants to make our July 4th all about him. I encourage everyone who despises the traitor creep in our White House to boycott the upcoming July 4th event, along with boycotting any state that follows the Trump lead to oppress and to murder us all. Let me ask you, is this where our country is headed? Will states become their own countries with border crossings and armed guards? Will some of our states be free states, USA states, and will the rest be Trump states, Putin states? I would like to be able to visit every state in our union and enjoy the USA as it is supposed to be enjoyed. But I will not, in good conscience, pour my hard-earned money into any state that supports Trump values and denies women their right to choose. And P.S. The Trumpist ruler of Florida is going to allow teachers, I used to be a teacher, more about that another time, to carry firearms into public schools. Am I going to need a green book, in quotes, to guide me on which right-wing Trumpist states I should boycott and avoid? Because I'm adding Florida, the state of Florida. I love Florida. I've been to Florida. Sanibel, Captiva, Fort Lauderdale, Tamarack, Fort St. Lucie. But I have to add Florida to that boycott as well. Because teachers shouldn't have to bring weapons to schools. These Republican bastards! And PPS, I understand that the states I am boycotting are going to be extremely gratified that my kind will be avoiding them. No my kind money to Georgia, Alabama, or Ohio, or Florida. And as they try to expand their influence to take over our entire country with their fascist, religious, extremist rule, these right-wing slime traitors are bringing the hot civil war sooner than we can imagine. And P.S. I have as much right to despise Daffy Donald Hair Monster as extremistly, as fanatic as I wish. Because when Obama was president, I seem to remember that when Obama was president, the teabagger scum on the right could not keep their dirty, sewer, racist mouths closed about him. I'm very mixed about impeaching because I would rather the voters get rid of a scumbag president. This is the best thing to happen if he gets voted out. I want to see the look on his scumbag face, this Trump face. Out, out, out! Him and his scum with him. But if he's breaking the laws of our country, of our Constitution, the Democrats have to stop clowning around and impeach this Trump bastard and teach the public why. For one thing, if these GOP scum had control of the House and there was a Democratic president, they would be charging. They would be charging